the thing that is kind of the turning point for me was when I decided I wanted to be really good at the guitar and I wanted to really focus on that was having an experience in the studio. And I really encourage you guys to record or try and put something out of pieces or arrangements, or even just record yourself on your phone or on a tape recorder or whatever, just for the purpose of hearing yourself play and hearing what you really sound like. Because for me, my first recording experience was really revealing, and I was really like, I was surprised that I didn't sound exactly the way I sounded in my head. You know, my timing wasn't as good as I wanted to be, and like some of the notes, I was playing pretty complicated things. It was my first album called Birdseed, which is mostly acoustic fingerstyle kind of styled album, and yeah, it was tough playing those pieces and hearing them back and realizing that I wasn't probably as good as I thought I was the point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna just really work at this and really focus on this, and that was my goal. And I kind of think, you know, if you approach it with a real goal in mind, and maybe your goal is to be able to play better with other people, like jam better, or to be able to write your own pieces or whatever it is. I think, yeah, just having a kind of focused practice schedule can really help develop that. It did for me anyway. Does that make sense in terms of practicing? So I'm going to kind of go through some of the things that I've learned that have been really useful. One of them is stretching. I had some RSI problems when I was, you know, I was probably like 15 or so. And my little sister is a really talented musician, and she plays a variety of instruments, including piano and clarinet, but she plays bass really well. And she's playing in like bands that like will go out to festivals and be street performers, and I've seen her fingers bleeding. I mean, absolutely, like they play for hours and hours and hours, and she's a 15-year-old girl, and I remember saying to her, like, I think it's really important that you stretch and you have good technique and good health with your forearms and wrists and everything. And these stretches were given to me. I remember after I had the RSI problems, I emailed Bob Brosnan. I'm not sure if you know who he is. He passed away, I think, last year or the year before. And I always admired him. And someone told me that he had this stretching method, and he emailed me. I don't even know if I'm doing it right, but basically, it's holding this for 10 seconds, and really getting it to so you feel the heat in your forearms, and then the other way, 10 seconds, bending your thumb back, 10 seconds. Same thing on the other hands, as well as, I'm just doing it quick because I'm trying to get through everything. As well as kind of like these ones and these ones. I don't know my guitar. My little sister, who I really felt for her because she was like, you know, really having a physical challenge playing a full-size bass as a young girl, you know, and those stretches, I found them really important, and I wanted to share them with her. And you know, if it's interesting to you guys, that's I actually find if I'm having a practice session and it's a kind of a where I'm going to be doing a lot of technical things like muscle memory, like trying to play an arrangement that's complicated. I find that if I stretch and have my fingers kind of like that warms the muscles up, I can really have a more effective practice session. And it might sound weird, but that's what I find. And a lot of the technical things I'm going to go over I got from a DVD called Rock Discipline by John Petrucci. And for those of you that were at the last camp that I taught, I talked about this a bit, but he has a similar stretching kind of idea. But basically, I think it's really important that you always play with no tension. A few people asked me yesterday, how do I get speed? And to me, like, speed and technique is easy. It's really black and white. It's really like being able to practice these things with no tension. Because as soon as you start tensing up, like you're playing like an exercise, as soon as you start tensing up, that's when you kind of like you hit the wall and you can't go any faster, and it's just like the trick is to be able to do it. Trick is to be able to do it without tensing up in your left or right hands. Yes?
Question on this, because I've been noticing to hit a run perfect 10 years ago I wrote this thing, and I'm actually having more problems with this run now.
Okay.
And I think that's part of the reason why, but I also think that how do you get such a nice clean note if you're trying to get it press hard without being tense?
Okay. So one of the kind of paradoxes with playing acoustic guitar, I find, is it's real important to have a very strong left hand, but have real dynamic control with the right hand. I play very soft, usually with my right hand, which allows me to be really dynamic and allow the melody to speak through. And but with my left hand, the reason it sounds clean is because I have a strong left hand. I had a friend who has a guitar that's strung with like really like 14s or 15s, and I play with a 16, but it's a set of 12s with a 16 on top, so it's not really that heavy. It's just these are two B strings, top one's tuned to E. I like the I just like the way that it sings better. But I played this guitar with like really heavy strings and a high action, and he was shocked that I could actually kind of do it. And it's because the acoustic guitar is a really tough instrument to play, you know. And one of the things I suggest to people who are having trouble fretting the notes cleanly is to play your arrangement or your song as loud as you can, then play it as soft as you can, but still make the notes fret. And what that'll do is kind of allow you to play with a really strong left hand technique, just good technique. And good technique means fretting with the tip of your finger, just simple things like that, not being tense in the forearms, because as soon as you do that, it's just a bad habit. You gotta. I've seen some classical guys talk about not even using the thumb on the back of their neck and trying to play, and I didn't really do that, but just the idea of having good technique, you know, is I think that's really what makes it sound clean, and you know, I've heard drummers say, you know, play a beat and then make the hi-hat really loud and everything else really soft, and then make the kick drum really loud and everything else really soft. And it's kind of the same with like if you're playing fingerstyle guitar, you know, if you're trying to play a piece. The bass is kind of the focus now. You kind of learn how to, and you listen to Tommy, he does that a lot, you know, he knows when to bring out the bass note and let it kind of have its moment, and then he knows how to dial it back, and those dynamic control is really what makes it sound smooth, I think. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. You have a question? Somebody? No? Okay. Yeah, so like just some basic right hand and left hand techniques that I've found really useful is one of them is just doing this simply for a fixed amount of time, say like a minute. And then switching fingers. And again, trying not to tense up, you know. And then doing the pinky. And if it's difficult, and I'm just doing like a semitone kind of thing. And if it's difficult doing that and you it kind of feels like tough, that's just a really simple way to kind of just get a little bit more strength The other one is this one. And then this one. I mean, some days I can really practice that all the time and can do it like crazy fast. I don't like make a point of practicing that a bunch, but that was one of the things that I spent a lot of time with, just to help me get just so I can play things cleaner, you know. Is that gonna make sense to everybody?
Yeah. How do you get sound out of it?
I'm sorry.
How do you get sound out of it when you do it?
How do you get a sound out of it? Well, kind of what you want to do is kind of like
Pulling off.
yeah. It's kind of like the action of like pushing it on, like that at the accent, or the pulling. It's kind of like just subtleties, and it's, I mean, it's boring, and you don't want to do it. People listening to you, you're gonna sound like it's a horrible thing to listen to somebody practice, but it was useful for me. Maybe it will be for you, even the idea of it, maybe. And again, like if you have a piece like where there's a really difficult section, I'm trying to think of an example. Yeah, if I hadn't have done those exercises, I wouldn't be able to get that as clean, you know. So I think it's a valid way to kind of build up that strength, you know.